Hi, I'm Val Evans. Thanks for joining me. In this episode, we'll analyze the possible escape routes of one or more perpetrators. We'll focus on psychic Todd Siegel's clues and combine astrology and psychic clues that just might help to solve this crime.
I don't think they went the same way that they came in.
Did the Idaho murderers take a right or a left on Taylor Avenue as they fled the murder scene on King Road? Can celestial navigation determine their direction? And did they head straight to a neighboring town that morning to eat breakfast?
It looks like there's a side road there. That to me seems the way that they left.
We'll talk about the escape plan of the Idaho murderers on November 13th between 3 and 4 a.m. and how a door cam along the route could be the missing piece of evidence for investigators. A crime chart is a snapshot of celestial points the moment a crime has been committed. An example of a chart is a picture of a landscape. The top of the photo is open sky and what everyone sees. At the bottom of the photo might be earth, trees, or a body of water, and representative of things that are difficult to see directly. The way an astrologer identifies what's hidden is translating the energy of a planet that might be in the lower portion of the chart.
I guess the more I focus on this, the more I just feel that the students were seen in town. Somebody didn't like the way they acted. Somebody was maybe jealous of them, if you're driving a nicer car. Something triggered somebody.
For years, I've displayed a map on my website that indicated where Richard Allen worked, the alleged killer of Libby German and Abby Williams. The crime chart pointed us in Allen's direction within 1 mile. Is the same technique possible to determine the route of the Idaho murderers? This is where we use the timestamp of the crime to identify coordinates that could be helpful in finding the perpetrators. Pluto can be found in an angular house in the crime chart, which emphasizes its importance. Pluto represents trash, so that could also be a major clue. Should we also use the Pluto line to determine the direction? It points, however, north of Seattle. It's the point of fortune line, an asteroid that goes straight through Pullman and on to Tacoma, one of Todd's earlier clues. Take a look at the route into town and the amazing clues that Todd gave us, and we can also use it with the astrology crime chart. Is this the way the perps initially entered the town?
I drew this map and there's so much energy in Scorpio that at first I thought maybe they went up this way, because 8, I always see these things in cases when I see 8 or 18.
You saw the truck that pulled up behind the victims as they walked out of the corner club and were caught on surveillance tape. Could it be the same truck that Todd saw in his vision?
The 76 gas station and the A&W on the right here, you remember we confirmed that police got video from that gas station.
Could the perp have taken a right on Louder before the gas station? But there's another possibility. If the perp took a left,
That to me seems the way that they left. So if that's the direction that they left, I'm only suggesting that the police look in that direction for any video of convenience stores or anything over the border. You know, what's the first town you hit?
Pluto can be found in an angular house in the crime chart, which emphasizes its importance. Pluto represents trash, so that could also be a major clue. Should we also use the Pluto line to determine the direction?
Was there a gas station somebody saw somebody throwing something in a trash can to get rid of the evidence? Criminals tend to like to use trash cans, believe it or not because they're environmentally friendly, but they know that the evidence will be disposed of rather than leaving it, throwing it out the car.
The recycling clue is such a good one, but I think that has more to do with where they work.
Actually, I see a town over the Washington border that has some railroad tracks. Railroad tracks seem significant. I also thought I saw some kind of a plant where a lot of dust material was being blown around the plant. Do they have Hardee's out there? I'm also, I still see a significance near this town in Washington that has something with mining. And I don't know how far away it is. Well, I could do it this way. I could also say, how far did these people have to drive after the murder? Wow, I'm actually kind of surprised I'm seeing like 3 hours. That'd be quite a ways, you know. Are there any reservations in Washington of Native Americans? I was getting something about when I target areas, I got something about reservation area or something. So that was one other thing. There was that one thing about possible railroad tracks. So somebody might know where the railroad goes through. What else am I seeing? Interesting, I see a hunting store in the town that is pretty good size, not a small place. Some kind of outfitters or something seems familiar. Whatever kind of town it is, it feels pretty rugged. I'm just getting mining, I'm getting wood products.
I drew this map and there's so much energy in Scorpio that I really wanted to focus in this area. And that actually could be the way they went that way somehow.
That's where I felt, somewhere down that way.
Boise is, I guess, south of that.
Mm-hmm.
And you had said something about Boise.
Washington seemed very significant for the exit and of the place where they might have come from originally. The town of the Moscow and the clock tower and that area is also the #1 target area for me. So I'm not given too many areas. I'm kind of narrowing it down. Gas station was relevant. And then also the other lead too is when I was listing these people as committing other crimes, that there should be a record of people released. That to me is important. You know, there's not thousands that were released that time. There's going to be a dozen. So many of these. I got there was one investigation near here where a woman was walking out of Walgreens pharmacy, and I worked on this case with her best friend, and she was walking out of the pharmacy. A woman came right up to her and stabbed her and killed her. and took her pharmaceuticals. Now, later on, they did catch the woman, and she was crazy. I mean, she was nuts, but just the fact that she was there, and we're talking a very upper scale area with, restaurants and history and near the college, and not a bad area at all as far as anybody. And but these have been happening a lot lately. I just don't think the killers were running that far. I think they wanted their vehicles very close by. And I also think they were there a little bit earlier. And the reason why I thought so is because it felt like the students in there were still somewhat awake. I get 11 o'clock is significant. A computer often has when they go into sleep mode, right? After maybe an hour, I don't know, it depends what you have it set on. I thought I saw a laptop or some kind of computer screen on during the time of the murder. It doesn't feel to me after 3, it feels like it was a little bit earlier. I can't confirm whether they were both in bed at the same time or not. There was something that I said about a closet, and it seemed relevant. Here's the thing: were there any wounds on them that indicated a struggle or pulling or being tugged? Yes, I think so. I see other bruises besides just stab wounds, and the bruises to me come from arms, wrists, and legs. I'm also getting something on the neck. So it seems like there was just an awful lot of bruising to just be in bed, right? There might have been some scratches actually on the perpetrators, so they need to watch that. But if anything, it'd probably be maybe a fiber or of clothing. But these guys definitely had to get out of their clothes after they were done. It was just awful. I think there was a lot of blood on them.
Can we link food to the perp's next destination after the murders? In a birth chart, each segment of the chart represents an area of life. The second house is the Taurus house and represents money, assets, and food. In the Idaho murder case, so much energy is in the second house. Is it a bigger clue than we originally thought?
So we know these guys are really into hamburgers, because the first place was this place and it was a hamburger place. I said that, Coco's.
Could the food theme actually help to solve this crime? Can we link food to the perp's next destination?
I get something with Waffles. Out here we have Waffle House. Maybe they have an equivalent out in Washington. I got something with Waffles.
I really think that the airport has something to do with it too, because I saw something about an airport that
Yeah, that to me seems the way that they left. So if that's the direction that they left, I'm only suggesting that the police look in that direction for any video of convenience stores or anything over the border. What's the first town you hit? Was there a gas station? Somebody saw somebody throwing something in a trash can to get rid of the evidence. Criminals tend to like to use trash cans, believe it or not because they're environmentally friendly, but they know that the evidence will be disposed of rather than leaving it, throwing it out the car. So they're very quick to use trash cans a lot of times, and we've worked on some cases where people actually disposed of bodies, we think, in trash cans.
We're always interested in hearing your theories, so feel free to comment below. Thanks for joining me.